France is graced with Provence, Italy with Sicily, and in Portugal, it's the Algarve. Each country has its own little haven, a piece of paradise where everything has its unique signature. In Spain, the southern part of the country can be summed up in one word: Andalusia. This land of culture, gastronomy, and celebration carries with it an important part of Spanish history. Dream Cruises invites you to the waters of the Guadalquivir and Guadiana, where we will discover one of the jewels of Spain, Andalusia. Departing from Seville, we'll sail the waters of the Guadalquivir and make a stop in Cordoba, Cadiz, and Jerez. We'll also sail to Portugal's Guadiana to visit Vila and Alcoutim. During the course of this cruise, we will stop at the mythical Rock of Gibraltar. It's aboard the Belle de Cadix that we set off to discover the southern part of the country. Specializing in river cruises, Croisière Europe offers charming and intimate cruise ships that can accommodate just under 200 passengers. The Belle de Cadix first sailed in 2005 and was fully renovated only a few years later to regain its glory. This 110-meter-long ship, just barely longer than a football field, offers on its 3 decks a unique and friendly cruise, where the riverbanks, the crew, and its passengers flow into one. We are only a few moments away from boarding ship. Our bus drops us off right in front of the ship's entrance. The beaming smiles from the crew confirm that this is going to be a fantastic cruise. Every face we encounter has welcoming words and warm greetings. Once we've registered, we can proceed to our cabins. This vessel accounts for 88 in total, spread over its 3 decks. In addition to the cabins, the ship has a spacious dining area, a bar that seats up to 30 people, a sun deck with comfortable seating, and a large lounge with a dance floor. It is also at this very spot that we are invited to the welcome cocktail. The charming Susanna is our hostess for this very special reception. Afterwards, it's the ship's purser who introduces us to the crew. While we savor some refreshing sangria, all the different teams who will take care of us during the cruise parade by and have some fun.
Sentez la Belle de Cadix.
We are still docked at the Seville quay. Even if our trip started yesterday, the ship has yet to leave the port. We must absolutely visit Seville before setting sail. After breakfast, the chartered buses are waiting as we will be spending a good part of the day visiting the Andalusian capital. Seville is the 4th largest Spanish city in terms of population. There are about 700,000 inhabitants. Situated halfway between Europe and Africa, the city acts as a bridge between several different cultures. Muslims, Catholics, and Jews live together harmoniously in this architecturally impressive city. Among the most interesting monuments to visit, the Plaza de España appears on every list in the tourist industry, and quite often it is ranked number 1. Upon our arrival, we are enthralled by the sights we see. Before us stands an immense wall ornamented with semicircular arches and a main building. This splendid structure is in fact just one single building. In front of this imposing facade, the Plaza de España is an immense gathering place, symbolizing the country and its ancient founding colonies. In the middle, bridges and fountains add a romantic touch to the decor. The Plaza de España was built at the start of the 20th century, specifically for the Ibero-American Exposition in 1929. The primary goal of this exhibition was to improve relations between Spain and Latin American countries, in addition to introducing Seville to current trends in urban planning, economics, and tourism. The expo was a great success, and many of the structures built are still widely used, including the marvelous Plaza de España. On many of the monuments, you can observe the beautiful azulejos. These magnificent tiles are in fact made of glazed ceramic and are often used to create mural frescoes. Though primarily developed in Portugal, this art form rapidly spread to Mexico, Brazil, and of course here in Seville. These works of art often depict important historical events. One can easily distinguish important figures of the country or even well-reputed cities. With its buildings, its azulejos, its fountains and bridges, we could easily spend a full week here at the Plaza de España, observing each and every detail found on the various works of art. It's a veritable open-air living museum. But since time is ticking, we decide to continue our journey to unravel some of the other hidden treasures Seville has to offer. Our next stop, the Santa Cruz neighborhood. This neighborhood is located in the historic heart of the city. Well-rooted within the origins of the country, Santa Cruz courts only the finest. It is here we find the Gardens of Murillo. Formed by small pathways lined with hedges, the gardens form a network composed of fountains, ornate benches, and massive trees. Here we pay homage to the famous navigator, Christopher Columbus. Today, when we think back to 1492, we immediately associate this date with the discovery of the Americas. And much like the year 0 in the Roman calendar, it defines a pivotal event in human history. From a more pragmatic point of view, the Gardens of Murillo were used to grow vegetables for the kings who resided near the Alcazar. By definition, an Alcazar is a walled-in fortress built in Spain where monarchs resided. Seville's own Alcazar has witnessed key royal figures living under its roof. This includes Charles V, one of the most powerful Christian monarchs of his time, as well as Isabella I, the queen behind the voyages of Christopher Columbus. We wrap up our tour of Seville and the Santa Cruz district by wandering about the area without any specific itinerary to follow. The numerous cafes and restaurants that serve tapas are extremely tempting. However, we want to keep room for tonight's dinner on board the ship, which sets sail at the end of the day. On our way back, we pass a cafe that proudly displays the heads of brave fighters who lost their lives in the arena. Although they are nowhere to be seen on the menu, these four-legged gladiators are the pride of the establishment. In Spain, bullfighting is an art in which a man's skill and courage are put to the test against a beast of brutal strength. Overall, bulls are blessed with an almost divine status. Don't be surprised to find them everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. We are back aboard. Attendance is taken by the captain in order to make sure no one gets left behind on the quays of Seville. The only people staying behind are the workers who will help maneuver the ship's departure. The cruise has officially started. we leave the port of Seville and make way to Guadalquivir. To ensure we make it out safely, the captain lowers the terrace roof. Here, the height of the bridges varies tremendously, with some requiring more precision than others. The first few minutes are devoted to navigating through the dense urban areas. We are now at the Guadalquivir Lock, which joins the ocean and nearby coastal cities. Just outside of the city, the once busy landscape fades into a vast open countryside. It's the ideal time to relax and concentrate on doing absolutely nothing. We sail towards Cadiz, an ideal port for some festivities. A perfect fit for tonight's plans, as we are invited to a flamenco show where music and dance are the guests of honor. There are several existing theories about the origins of flamenco, one of which names Cadiz, the city we're in, as perhaps the birthplace of this dance and musical style. Whatever the origins might be, tonight we are being treated to a more than perfect demonstration. The dancers keep in time to the musicians with their precise steps and clapping of their hands, which is known as palmas. This very precise beat follows the rules of percussion. With the notes played from the flamenco guitar and the rhythm of the dancers, we witness this original Andalusian dance featured on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. This morning, we wake up in the port of Cadiz. Today's program includes a stroll along the streets of Jerez and then a visit to the backcountry, where we discover a paradise for horses and bulls. Jerez de la Frontera is the fifth largest city in Andalusia. Situated approximately 35 kilometers from Cadiz's port, it will take us about half an hour to get there by bus. We are now in the city of wines and vinegars. It is not surprising that great food and drink is the highlight of the area. From the first few steps we take, we notice a great number of cafes, terraces, and restaurants that line the quaint streets. Although all of these places seem incredibly appetizing, we resist the temptation and continue to explore the area. Aside from its culinary delights, Jerez has so much more to offer. It is a city filled with unique architecture and a very impressive track record. The capital of flamenco, host of the Spanish Moto Grand Prix, kingdom of wine and culinary delights, this city wins best in show on so many levels. But out here, the pride of the people is the Cartellano horse and the fighting bull. As a matter of fact, these two magnificent beasts are the topic of our next visit. We are introduced to the realm of the Spanish demigods in the Los Albureos area. Here, the Andalusian horse and the fighting bulls are masters. Upon entering the area, a quote sums up the owner's philosophy. El hombre no puede dominar a caballo, sino se domina a sí mismo. Man cannot master a horse if he cannot master himself. Upon our arrival, we are very impressed by this site that exudes nobility. Everything is immaculate. It must be said that the Cartellano horse and the fighting bull hold a special status here. Its origins can be established at the nearby convent of Yeguada de la Cartuja. The monks bred horses and owned a herd of 700. They founded a line of thoroughbred horses that met with the very strict standards for offspring. Only direct descendants can officially carry the name Cartoiano. These magnificent animals are excellent for dressage. While seated in the stands, we are given a musical demonstration of the agility of the rider and his horse. After taking a look at the horses, we head to the Plaza Virgen del Recuerdo to their museum. It includes an array of farm tools used for breeding the bulls, objects essential for training, and of course, many bullfighting trophies. Among the objects exhibited hang several heads of famous bulls that gave up their lives for the show. We can only imagine the actual battle that took place in the arena. Bulls are selected according to 3 specific criteria: bravery, nobility, and breed. In this domain, breed is well known and recognized. There has to be no doubt as to the animal's heredity. Nobility and bravery are then matured. After this culturally enriched visit, we head back to our starting point of the day, Cadiz. The last moments of our stop will be devoted to visiting this charming city. Where honor is due, we begin our tour with the cathedral. Built on the site of an older cathedral that was destroyed by fire, the one we admire today was completed around the mid-19th century. It took over 100 years to erect this neoclassical facade temple. Because it took over a century to build, several changes were made to the original plans, which integrated various architectural styles. The results are quite impressive, to say the least. We continue to walk along the quaint streets and soak up the ambiance. A local trumpeter accompanies our every step as we wander about in the famous Genove Park. Created over 100 years ago, this massive green space is said to be the lungs of the city. There are several walkways in the park, lined with gorgeous hedges and trees from America that are over 100 years old. The captain is ready to set sail to the neighboring country, Portugal. To celebrate our arrival in one of the oldest European countries, we will honor its cuisine and dine on fish this evening. We left Cadiz in the middle of the night and headed out to our next stop. We are traveling to the city of Alcoutim in Portugal. In order to get there, we sail back up the Guadiana for about 50 kilometers. This lovely ride on the river is quite special. Not only are we treated to the wonderful landscape, but we also witness a peculiarity specific to this part of the river. On the right bank, Spanish Andalusia. On the left, Portugal, land of Porto wine and gastronomy. This river spans over 800 kilometers, and its source originates in Spain and then irrigates the Portuguese riverbanks. Right before it disappears into the ocean, the Guadiana also serves as a border between the two countries. This particularity has marked its place over the years. We arrive as planned. On the riverbank to the left, the port awaits us. Alcoutim and its fortress look on as we head to the docks. In the past, the town of San Luca de Guadiana needed protection due to its location, especially since the river was a major route for commerce. The citadel was built for this reason. In addition, the proximity of the two towns to the mouth of the ocean, combined with the tides, has made this area an important navigation stopover. A good number of ships dock here while waiting for more favorable weather conditions. Over the course of the years, Alcoutim developed very well. Close to the docks, there were a variety of shops, inns, and restaurants to accommodate sailors and passengers. This area also flourished due to the proximity of Spain's neighboring shores. And there had to be a lookout point onto the Guadiana for control. A small castle high above offered an excellent view of the water and its neighbors. While walking around, we witnessed the Portuguese sense of humor. The authorities posted a permanent guard to keep an eye on the Spanish. Our visit to Alcoutim has already come to an end. Once again, we board the ship and travel down the river. Our next stop is located near the mouth of the river. We head towards Vila Real de San António. At one point in time, Vila Real was considered to be one of the most relevant ports for fishing and commerce in the region. Located close to the mouth of the river, this strategic position long served the needs of the fishing industry and customs regulations. As like Alcoutim, Vila Real is an important passageway for sailors navigating the river. Nowadays, fishing activities are reduced to a handful of small boats here and there. The port allocated a portion of these facilities to a marina and pleasure boats. The Belle de Cadix is docked at Vila Real. We will be leaving on an expedition to uncover the beauty of the Algarve and its administrative capital, Faro. As with many cities situated in the south of Europe and a stone's throw away from Africa, Faro had been conquered time and time again. It was finally the Portuguese king Alphonse III who officially liberated Faro from the Moors. In the old town, the king's feat is still big news to this day, even if it's been over 700 years. Walking through the city, you can see traces here and there of some of the first invaders, such as the Moors and the Romans. But it is rather the exploits of the Portuguese that are the most remarkable. The cathedral is a magnificent example. Although it was almost entirely destroyed during an earthquake in the mid-18th century, it was rebuilt from the bell tower that resisted destruction. Just behind is the old city hall and the Episcopal Palace. There are no tours for the rest of the day, so we're free to explore and discover the hidden gems of the city at our own leisure. Having existed for over 1,000 years, Faro has a lot to offer. It's almost time to leave. We reboard the ship and head out to our next stop, which will be one of the most spectacular of the cruise. We set sail towards Gibraltar. But before arriving at the foot of the famous rock, we're treated to a fantastic evening.
Mesdames et messieurs, un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour l'équipage de la Belle de Cadix. Ladies and gentlemen, you can applaud them.
The crew members shed their usual decorum and dress up as different characters. It's the one night of the cruise where sailors' clothes and stripes on sleeves give way to glitter and wigs. While the ship sails quietly towards Gibraltar, the crew steals the show and lights up the dance floor. Once the show is over, it's our turn to dance and to wrap up a wonderful evening. It's still early in the morning. After our wonderful evening with the crew members, we're ready for our next stop. This time, we leave both Spain and Portugal behind to visit a part of England. Well, almost. We left the Guadiana to sail the Atlantic Ocean at the intersection of Africa, the Mediterranean, Spain, and Portugal. We are now at Gibraltar. Gibraltar is a small British territory, a bit less than 6 square kilometers. Despite its small size, it still remains a strategic site. The gateway to the Mediterranean Sea and Africa is still under the rule of Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, much to the despair of the Spaniards who claim the territory as their own. Once docked, we head towards the town to visit the British microcosm on Iberian territory. Aside from a few architectural or even climatic similarities, we are neither in Spain nor in Portugal. We can definitely sense the influence of the British Crown. The 7 million tourists who invade the colony lend themselves to the game. One does not mess with the Queen of England. In fact, the only ones for which this territory is neutral are the monkeys. In town, it's impossible to ignore the presence of the only primate in all of Europe, the Barbary macaque. There's actually an almost perfect coexistence between the monkey and the most famous landmark, the Rock of Gibraltar. The Rock, as everyone calls it, is the highest point of Gibraltar. With its 426 meters and 200 million years to its name, this rock is the main attraction of our visit. But according to several sources, our furry friends attract almost as much, if not even more, visitors than the Rock. Regardless, everyone agrees that the Rock and the macaques make quite the pair. To discover what the views at the summit have to offer, we take the cable car. In just under 6 minutes, we reach the summit. Our first greetings go to a big macaque who seems to be part of the staff. Once here, we can better understand the strategic position of this British territory. To our right, we can see Spain, the airstrip, and its facilities which serve as a border. Facing us, we see the Spanish mountains that jut out to the Gibraltar Strait, a passage linking the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. Finally, to the left of the strait, we can see Morocco. With this brief overview of all the territories surrounding the Rock, it's easy to understand why Spain still covets this precious piece of land. As we walk on top of the Rock, we see an ancient Moorish fortress, as well as numerous holes in the rock. There are no less than 100 caves and a network of tunnels spanning over 300 meters. Each of them offer a unique view of the bay that separates the Spanish territory and the British territory. Whether you're here to play with the monkeys, observe the majestic landscape, or want to feel what it's like to be at the intersection of several nations, a visit to the world's most famous rock is definitely a unique experience. While heading back to the ship, we have the pleasure of being greeted by a Barbary macaque that patiently awaits our arrival. We reboard and set sail towards our starting point, Seville. Sitting in the bridge, the captain enjoys a beautiful sunset while he finalizes the last details of our crossing. Meanwhile, in the dining room, we enjoy a delicious meal from the main deck's restaurant. Gibraltar gave us an eyeful today, but tonight it's the pastry chef's turn to impress us with his delicious creations.
Notre chef pâtissier, our pastry chef.
We left Gibraltar last night to head back towards our departure point, Seville. The rest of our cruise will be taking place from here. Today, we're going to discover the city of Granada. The city of Granada is located in southeastern Andalusia. To get there, it will take about 2.5 hours. But it's definitely worth the trip. This Spanish city, founded before the dawn of time, has an impressive track record. Some of the greatest tenors in the world have paid tribute to Granada in song, including Placido Domingo and Luciano Pavarotti. The city of Granada is located at the foot of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. With a population of almost 250,000 people, this beautiful city is considered a must by the elite of world tourism. For anyone visiting Andalusia, it would be a real pity to miss out on this extraordinary city. One of the best descriptions of Granada was written by author Lorenzo Buma in his book Granada, City of My Dreams, who poetically summarizes his sentiments. It's the meeting of Moor and Christian, Gypsy and Jew, Sierra and plain, snow and sun, from which this green balcony of Europe looks upon the arid dimensions of Africa. In order to fully comprehend the author's description of history, culture, and geography as one, you must see it for yourself. Granada is a beautiful multicultural city, bustling with tourism. To fully capture its sense of charm, a visit to the cultural center is recommended. We're in front of the Cathedral of Incarnation, classified as a national monument for nearly 100 years. Its history can be traced back to the same year as the discovery of the Americas in 1492. The Catholic kings of the time decided to build a massive cathedral on the ruins of a large Nasrid mosque. After a few years of mulling over the blueprints, the first stone was set in 1518. With a constant change of plans, architects, and engineers, the people of Granada waited almost 200 years before witnessing the completion of the temple. The result is magnificent. It can be described as an ensemble that incorporates purity and elegant forms with the immaculate whiteness of the stone. The main facade of Baroque inspiration dominates the historic center. With its 3 grand Roman-style arches, the cathedral commands respect. In this mecca of tourism, along with the cathedral, we discover the famous Alhambra Palace. For a panoramic view of these famous landmarks, we climb up to the city's Belvedere, where a tremendous terrace overlooks the 3 most popular tourist attractions. First, the Alhambra. The Alhambra is a palace complex located on the Sabika Hill. The magnificent Islamic architecture alone attracts hundreds of thousands of tourists every year. Behind this, we see the Sierra Nevada mountain range, eternally covered in snow. Many hikers congregate here to climb one of Europe's highest mountains that boasts an altitude of more than 3,000 meters. Finally, from the Belvedere, we can also see the gardens of the Generaliffe, summer residence of the Moorish rulers in the 14th century. On our way back to the ship, we stop by the Artisans Market. As we're on the last leg of our dream cruise, it's a great opportunity to bring back some exquisite souvenirs from Spain. On the ship, we're invited to eat in the main deck's dining room. The lovely buffet-style dinner is a premise to a great evening ahead, which will take place in the lounge bar on the middle deck. Tonight we're watching a traditional show starring a group of performers from Granada. An intimate setup that gives us goosebumps that is very touching. A guitar, double bass, and a charango, played by 3 talented musicians, perform some of the country's most beautiful songs. It's morning and the last day of our dream cruise. On our agenda this morning, we exit our cabin and follow the aroma of freshly brewed coffee straight to a scrumptious breakfast buffet served in the restaurant on the ship's middle deck. Fresh fruits and pastries, hard-boiled eggs. We're definitely at the right spot to get a great start for today's excursion. The ship is still anchored in Seville, and after finishing our coffees, we're offered the chance to visit the city of Cordoba. Cordoba is located in the middle of Andalusia, 140 kilometers from Seville. Classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for over 3 decades now, the historic center is today's destination. Few cities can boast about having been the official capital of Hispania, that is to say, the Iberian Peninsula, under the Roman Empire. This ancient city still has many traces of the ingenuity that evolved from the people of Julius Caesar. In fact, it is under his reign that one of the city's wonders was built, the Roman Bridge of Cordoba. Overlooking the Guadalquivir, this magnificent 16-arch masterpiece has existed for over 2,000 years. Connecting the city to the Tower of Calahorra, the bridge that we're visiting today isn't exactly the original one. It was renovated several times in order to maintain its existence as a bridge. The latest renovations done were only a few years back. At one end, the Calahorra Tower is a fortified gate used to protect the city. King Henry II of Castile ordered the construction of the tower to defend the city against numerous attacks by his half-brother, Peter the Cruel. This powerful defense tower fended many attacks and disheartened thousands of enemies. Today, it attracts rather than turns away. On the inside, we can visit its museum that retraces the 3 cultures of medieval Cordoba between the 9th and 13th centuries. After leaving the tower, we move across the bridge and catch a glimpse of some artists painting. Today's subject is located in the bed of the Guadalquivir. We're talking about 2 ancient flour mills from the 18th century. We're a few meters away from the other side, and in front of us is another door. Built towards the 16th century, this archway grants us direct access to Cordoba's historic center. Once on the other side, we find ourselves standing before the Cathedral of Cordoba. This ancient temple, transformed into a church, a mosque, and finally a cathedral, is one of the most important monuments here. Its size is impressive, 174 by 137 meters. Its surface area is roughly 23,000 square meters, which is about 19 times the size of our ship. Speaking of ships, as the day comes to an end, we must head back soon. But we have just enough time to wander about a Jewish neighborhood where our ears are treated to a lovely song played on an ocarina. The people of Cordoba really do know how to treat us well. Once on board, we decide to take a look at the souvenir shop located on the middle deck. When we see all the beautiful items in the store, we get a touch nostalgic. But before we get too sentimental, we have a dinner we need to attend. The last dining experience of the cruise will be one to remember. Tonight, we celebrate the gastronomy of Spain with one of its culinary specialties, paella. The country's most famous dish is a true savory delight. The word paella in Catalan simply means frying pan. Rice is the base of this dish that acts as a bed for all the other ingredients. Depending on tradition, region, the day's leftovers, or the cook's mood, you can find almost anything on top of the rice. In tonight's colorful paella, there's an assortment of beef, seafood, and fish. This gastronomic feast is a great way to end our memorable cruise, and in such fine style. And to top off our exquisite meal, we're treated to a repertoire of Spanish folk songs by musicians from Seville. While the melodies play on, our thoughts drift back to the unforgettably amazing cruise. With a rather eclectic itinerary, we visited a landscape of pure richness in Andalusia. A touch of Guadalquivir and Guadiana mixed with Spain and Portugal, passing by the Atlantic Ocean and the Rock of Gibraltar. This cruise aboard the Belle de Cadix created memories that will forever be etched in our minds and hearts. We raise a toast to these majestic landscapes and begin thinking about our next trip. But this time, it won't be aboard the Belle de Cadix, as other ships and destinations are ready to welcome us with open arms for yet another dream cruise.